Greetings, this is Frosty Thundertrot, and today I'm going to talk about Monsters and Memories and my experience in the playtest weekend that just occurred. As you can see now, all the servers are down. I'm just sitting here in character select with no character since there's no servers up, and I discovered something. When you click on this, now if this isn't, the very epitome of this game, I don't know what is. Absolutely useless, but somebody took the time to do it so you can sit here and spin your meat when you have nothing else to do. I'm sure there's some allegory for lonely gamer guys who, just sitting here at a computer screen spinning their meat, but anyway. Let's see. Well, let's start off with the negative so we can end up on a positive. The interface sucks. Okay, it is terrible. Let's start off with the world map. I can understand that they don't want GPS, style, sparkling paths that guide you to everything. But god damn, just a simple map. I mean, humans were using maps before we even had written language. And yet here somehow in the worlds of monsters and memories that are, map technology has not been discovered. Just give me a map so I can compare what I see to what is around me so I can actually find where I'm trying to go. Next problem with the interface is, some of the bindings are just weird. Such as the B key. Also, some of the windows need to be integrated together. Such as, having your trained skills and your character on your character sheet. There's also the fact that the interface really does not scale well to 3440 by 1440 resolution. So that was a lot of it was kind of hard to read since all the text was so small. Next up, I would say the biggest thing and the thing that might actually stop me from playing the game is that you interact with all the NPCs by click on them, pressing H to get their attention, to hail them. As I understand, this was an EverQuest thing. I never played the original EverQuest. I played EverQuest 2, but not the original EverQuest. And then you have to type in say chat channel. And then hopefully you get the NPC will react to a keyword in whatever you type. Once again, I can understand what they're trying to do, and in some ways it seems kind of cool, to actually be more immersive and, like talking to the NPC. But for someone like me who is not on friendly terms with keyboards, this was absolutely torture. In addition to that, so I realizing that my difficulty with, typing, I tried to use the Windows voice to text system, which is, Windows key plus H. And I just ran into a problem here with the game is so laggy. And has so many words that aren't real words that it just would not work very well. Because if you try to say, like an in-game term, the text-to-speech is going to try to correct it to a real word that sounds somewhat similar. So, I mean, I thought that that might be a good work around, and it would be even more immersive. But the limitations of text to speech just actually made it even worse than trying to type. So that's one last thing which bothered me a lot was accuracy in combat. Time after time after time, I would be in a battle and it would be swing, miss, 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 one damage, swing, miss, swing, miss, swing, miss, swing, miss, swing, miss, and suddenly half their health is gone in one hit. It was very frustrating and definitely unempowering for me as the player, even though I'd pumped up my dexterity to be trying to, and I took the bludgeoner skill, so I had extra weapon skill at the start. But every battle, even, you know, I could never have any certainty about what was going to happen at all, even if it was a significantly weaker enemy than me, because, while it was chipping away at me, pretty consistently, one hit, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, you know, my experience was, I was missing a lot and then I'd get a great big hit to catch up. So I might come up to, a large rat, miss, 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 and, walk away with just barely a sliver of health. And the very next battle, I would come up to the same a large rat and just take it out with one shot. Now, I can understand some variability, but I think we need more consistency here. I think it would be far more enjoyable overall to be able to hit more reliably and do less damage so that at least you can have a understanding of what's going on in the situation so that you can plan, think, and be tactical instead of just sitting there and hoping that the big hit comes through in time. So that's the end of my criticisms. Then I'm gonna go with one thing I'm kind of neutral on. The game is ugly as hell, really. Unnecessarily ugly. I understand that they're trying to go for EverQuest style graphics, but I wouldn't mind if you went for EverQuest box art or EverQuest cinematics instead of EverQuest game. Some of the models are a little bit goofy, like my ogre. His legs are so short, it almost looks like he should be a quadruped because the proportion of his legs to his torso just don't match that of a bipedal creature. Uh, and textures are just terrible. Of course, textures are something that can be added on later on once you have all your animations smoothed out. Textures are relatively easy to update. Yeah, so while I don't expect, latest generation from an indie developer, I think if we can, move up to 2015 instead of 1995, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, on to the positives. The positives, I would say, is definitely class design. I played both a Beastmaster and a Ranger. The Beastmaster is an excellent, very enjoyable class. It has a very distinct identity. And it has a nice toolkit uh, once you figure out how to go buy skills. So I would go with and then I played the Ranger. The Ranger, I was kind of worried that the Beastmaster and the Ranger would kind of step on each other's toes. But not really. The Ranger, while it does have some, naturey things, it is primarily a skirmisher. And the fact that it, mixes ranged and melee combat together as to where the Beastmaster is all about doing melee combat with your pet with a little bit of spellcasting on the side. Actually, a fairly decent amount of spellcasting on the side. And in the Ranger, like I said, it was all about, mixing the ranged attacks and the melee attacks so you were able to engage and fight, at a distance or up close. And, you were somewhat good. Uh, it was a fairly durable class, and I got the impression that it could actually be a good. It might even be able to off tank to a certain extent. So, yes, actually, like how the Ranger was built. Now, leveling is slow like it should be, so I'm not counting that as a bad thing. I'm actually counting that as kind of a good thing. So I also tried the crafting. The crafting system is incomplete, and it has some odd quirks, but I can see where it'd be a valuable system. And if for someone who's a dedicated crafter, it would work. There is, some gear available for you to just buy, which, it's basic starting gear. You're not going to get any advanced good stuff. I did a little bit of questing, but like I said, since the quests are hidden behind the chat to NPC option, I found that a little bit difficult. One thing I also encountered with my Beastmaster was that, when I needed to feed my pet, I expected there to be some sort of a skill or a power, click this to feed your pet. But literally, to feed your pet, you drag food from your inventory over the pet in the outside world. So it's like you're handing, your pet something to eat. It's counterintuitive for anybody who's ever played, been playing MMOs. They would never think to do that because that's just not how it's done. And nowhere in the game does it tell you to do this. So this is, I guess, is technically both a positive and a negative. But yeah, the just handing stuff to your pet, to food to your pet to feed it, was kind of neat, and it left a positive impression once I figured it out. So yeah, I'm right now. I really wish they'd give me some better dialogue where I can just click an option, because like I said, it's just too hard for me to be able to type out reliably and have the system react. But otherwise, I think we got a fairly decent game in the making here. Thank you very much for watching.